So today I'm going to show you how to knit these really awesome fingerless gloves. If you don't want to watch the intro to the video, the timestamp to the start of the pattern is here. I've designed this pattern so it's easy for anybody to make. Keep in mind though that I am assuming that you have knit something before. So I'm assuming that you know how to knit, how to purl, how to cast on and cast off. Anything else that is a little more unusual, I'm going to show you how to do in this pattern. So the most difficult thing that you're probably going to do is a make one stitch or a purl make one stitch. I have specific videos online that I will link to up here and put QR codes here if you would like to watch how to do those before you start this video. If not, that's okay. I will show you how to do that in this pattern later on when you have to do them to make the thumb gusset. The thumb gusset is this part where your thumb comes through. I put the seam at the side of your hand on each of the gloves. So they're a little more out of the way instead of being like running through here, which would be incredibly uncomfortable, and I just could not live with myself if I did that. But these gloves are really, really simple. Like this wrist is all just knit stitch. It's a garter stitch. This is just a stocking knit stitch. And then I'm going to show you how to sew that seam up too. And there's also a seam on the inside of the thumb here, but I will show you how to do that also in this pattern. The things that you're going to need for this pattern are pretty basic. You're going to need a set of single pointed needles, just like this. They're a size 4 millimeter or a size 6. And you will also need a stitch holder. You also need the tapestry needle to sew up the seams and work in your ends when you're done. Of course, you're going to need a ball of yarn. Any worsted weight yarn will do. I believe it's also known as Aran weight. It's also known as 4. Check your label, it's there. This specific video is going to show you how to make the medium size of these fingerless gloves. The pattern also includes how to make a small and a large size. And if you're not sure of what size you need to make, here's a handy infographic that will tell you the size that you need to make. And if you need to make one of these different sizes other than the medium, then you can go and use this QR link here or this link here, and you can go read the pattern for free over on my website. There is also a link in the description below to the pattern. In the pattern, there is a difference in the sizing. It has mostly to do with stitch counts, row counts, and number of repeats that we do to make the thumb gusset. This is not a pattern for someone who has never knit before. This is not a knit along with me pattern. I am going to skip sections that are repetitive, that are just a knit row or a purl row. If you need to find a specific section, I've put cards in the video to show you exactly what row you're on. At the end of the video, I have also given some suggestions on how you can personalize this pattern a little more to yourself by making a ribbed cuff or making it longer or changing up the sizes a little bit. Maintaining your tension is very important to get the correct sizing and keep your stitches even. To do this, wrap the yarn once around your little finger, over your ring finger, under the middle finger, and over your index finger. It will look like this when you're done. Wrap the yarn over the needle and over itself. Start by casting on 33 stitches. If you need more help in casting on stitches, use the link above. You now have 33 stitches cast on your needle. Double check to make sure you have the correct number. Now we are going to make the cuff. Knit in every stitch. If you need help in how to do the knit stitch, use the link above. The first row is complete. You're now working on the wrong side. The wrong side will always have the end of the yarn on the right for this pattern. Knit in every stitch again. The row is now complete. It will twist up a bit like this every time, guaranteed. There's nothing that you can do about that to make it not happen. Knit across like this for a total of 14 rows. Here we have 6 rows completed. The cuff is now done with all 14 rows completed. We're now starting on the wrist portion of the gloves. It's done in stocking net stitch, which is always a knit row on the right side. There's not much difference from the cuff at this point. Working on the wrong side, purl in every stitch across. If you need help with how to do the purl stitch, click the link above. The wrong side of the stocking knit stitch, and now the right side of the stocking knit stitch. Working on the right side, knit across. The cuff is becoming more defined. Working on the wrong side, purl across. Repeat these 2 rows for a total of 8 rows. This row is the start of the thumb gusset. It's done by making increases along both sides of a single stitch. On the right side, it's known as a make 1. For the medium glove, knit 19 stitches. Check the pattern for the correct number of stitches before the make 1. The right hand is different from the left. The small and large sizes are different also. To make the increase, pick up the yarn between the stitches. Place it on your non-working needle. Pull the yarn forward a little bit and hold it with your finger so you can insert the needle from front to back. Yarn over and knit the stitch. Knit the next stitch. Make 1 again. Pick up the yarn between the stitches, place it on your non-working needle. Insert your needle from front to back. Yarn over and knit the stitch. Knit all the remaining stitches on your needle. For the right-handed medium glove, there will be 13 stitches left. This number is different for the left hand and for the different sizes. It's kind of hard to see here, but this is the start of your thumb gusset. Purl in every stitch across just like the previous rows. Purl in the make 1s just like you do any other stitch. The thumb gusset is becoming a little more defined now. Once again, knit across just like you have previously. The thumb gusset is starting to stand out a little bit more now. Increasing on the wrong side is done by adding a purl make 1 or a PM1. Purl the first 13 stitches. It's always a good idea to double check. Make sure that your yarn is pulled forward. Pick up the yarn between the stitches. Place it on your non-working needle. Insert your needle from back to front. Yarn over and purl the stitch. Purl the next 3 stitches. Make another PM1. Pick up the yarn between the stitches. Place it on your non-working needle. Insert your needle from back to front, yarn over, and purl the stitch. Purl all the remaining stitches. There are 19 for the right-handed medium glove. The stitch counts are different for the small and the large. The thumb gusset on the right side. Knit across for the next row, and then purl across. We're going to increase again on the right side. As we continue to make the thumb gusset, there are more stitches between the increases. Knit the 19 stitches. You can see here where the 19 stitches end and the thumb gusset begins. Pick up the yarn between the stitches, place it on your non-working needle. Insert your needle from front to back, yarn over, and knit the stitch. Knit 5 stitches. Make one again. You can see where the thumb gusset ends and the 13 stitches begin. Pick up the yarn, put it on your non-working needle, insert your needle from front to back, yarn over, and knit. Knit the remaining 13 stitches. The thumb gusset is becoming more pronounced. Purl a row and knit a row. We're going to increase again on the wrong side with a purl make 1. Purl the first 13 stitches. You can clearly see where the 13 stitches end and where to make the increase. Make sure your yarn is pulled forward. Pick up the yarn between the stitches, place it on your non-working needle, insert your needle from back to front, yarn over, and purl the stitch. Purl the next 7 stitches. Once again, you can see where you should be making the increase. Purl make 1 as you have done before. Purl the remaining 19 stitches. Now you can clearly see the defined thumb gusset. And now a word from my sponsor, which is me. If you go over to Buy Me a Coffee and join my membership program, you can now download all of these patterns and more, including the pattern for these fingerless gloves. Once you become at least a monthly member for $4 a month, you can download and print all of these patterns. The patterns are PDF files. You can download and print them. All new patterns are added to Buy Me a Coffee as soon as they are published. I'm also adding patterns from my back catalog as I get time. You can cancel at any time. Knit a row and purl a row. We're going to increase again on the right side. Knit the 19 stitches. Make 1 as you've done before. Knit the next 9 stitches. Make 1 again. Knit the remaining 13 stitches. Purl a row and knit a row. These are the last increases that we're going to make. Start by purling the 13 stitches. Purl make 1 as you've done before. Purl the next 11 stitches. Purl make 1 for the final time, and purl the remaining 19 stitches. The thumb gusset is clearly visible now. Knit a row and purl a row. This is where we were going to transfer the thumb stitches that we're going to work on later. You'll need to use your stitch holder for this. Set it aside as you knit the 19 stitches. You can clearly see where the thumb gusset starts. Open the stitch holder and pass the stitches onto it as if you were going to purl the stitches. You can clearly see where the thumb gusset ends. Close the stitch holder. Knit the next stitch, making sure you pull your yarn tight. Knit the remaining stitches. Now that we've passed the stitches onto the stitch holder, the thumb gusset is starting to look more like a thumb. Purl one row. The stitch holder won't be in your way. You probably won't even notice it when purling this row. The stitches may be a little looser, but that's okay. What it looks like on the wrong side. What it looks like on the right side. Knit one row. Purl one last row. What the glove is starting to look like. Knit the next 8 rows. What the cuff for the fingers looks like. Cast off all the stitches. If you need extra help, you can click the link above. Cut your yarn and pull it through. Leave about 12 inches of length to sew up the seam. To work the thumb stitches, open your stitch holder. Make sure the point is facing your working needle. Transfer them back onto your needle. With the right side of your work facing you, knit all of the stitches. Purl one row. The last stitch that you purl will be very loose. Simply pull the yarn to tighten it. Knit one row, purl one row. Cast off the stitches like you did before. Cut the yarn and pull through. Leave about 6 inches to sew the thumb seam. Now that the right hand is done, it's time to make the left. The instructions on how to do so are in the pattern. Always sew the thumb seam first. It's easier to do it now when the side seam is open. Thread your needle and use the eye to sew the seam. This prevents the yarn from splitting and creates a neater edge. Insert your needle through the first stitch. Insert your needle in the stitch and catch the yarn beneath. Pull it snug. On the opposite side, insert your needle in the stitch and catch the yarn beneath. Pull it snug again. Work your way down the length of the thumb, alternating from side to side. Pull the yarn tight and then stretch out the seam. Catch this stitch and its friend on the other side. Catch the yarn beneath the next stitch. Pull the yarn snug. Insert your needle and pull the yarn to the back of your work. We don't want a knot, so the best option is to work in the end. Pick up a bit from the next 5 or 6 stitches. Pull the yarn snug. Pick up a bit from the yarn you just worked through. Pull snug. Cut off the end. Tightening up these holes is up to you. I usually do it, but you don't have to. With the other end from when you started the thumb, catch a bit of each stitch, alternating from side to side. Work in the end as you did before. What the thumb seam looks like when you're finished. A seam is a seam, and you make this one the same way. Insert your needle into the top of the first stitch. Catch the first row on the opposite side. Catch the row on the other side. Continue for all the rows of the cuff. Pull the yarn snug and give it a bit of a stretch when you're done. The remainder of the side is done the same way as the thumb. Insert your needle in the stitch and catch the yarn beneath. Alternate from side to side. Every now and then, make sure you pull your yarn snug and stretch it out a little bit. Check to see if the cuff will line up. If it doesn't, there's an easy fix for this. Instead of catching just one stitch, catch two. When catching the stitch on the other side, only catch one. Do this as many times as you need to so the cuff will line up again. When you get to the cuff, catch the rose again. Don't forget to periodically pull your yarn snug and stretch it out again. Using the pointy end of your needle, insert it in the first of the cast-on stitches. Pull the yarn to the back of your work. Work in this final end like you did before. The last thing is the original yarn end when we first cast on. Work in this end too. One of the things that you can try to do is to use different kinds of yarn. The things that I used to really like was to use striped yarns. They're getting a little bit more hard to find these days, but I did find some new stuff put out by Red Heart. It's this. Do I love it? And also, I was feeling rather energetic. I wanted to try some of that new Red Heart yarn to make granny squares because I thought maybe the striping would work out well for some of my smaller projects. This is what it turned out like. Do I love it? There's only one glove, so you can make that call yourself. This is also another one that Red Heart put out. This is actually knit in the round. I didn't do it. But I did make this because I wanted to try the yarn. This yarn is a little bit thicker than I usually use. So the glove, even though I made a medium, turned out a lot bigger than I had expected. Gauge is important, but another thing that you can do when you're making this is you can make a ribbed cuff that's like this. You can make a ribbed cuff. It gives more stretch than the other cuff that I did, which is just this simple garter stitch. The ribbed cuff is actually really easy for this pattern because all it is, instead of just knitting, you're going to knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. You're going to end on a knit. And then when you flip it back over to be on the wrong side, so string on the end like I had showed you numerous times in this video, you're going to start with a purl, and then you're going to purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit all the way across. This particular glove, I did some ribbing not just on the cuff, but I also did it on the fingers, and I also did it on the thumb. You can also adjust the size a little bit of these gloves by how many repeats you make of the thumb gusset rows and how much you're increasing the thumb gusset. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to do all the things you're supposed to do on YouTube, like and subscribe. Apparently it's supposed to help. Leaving a comment is also really good. I will leave a pinned comment with a link to this pattern at the top of the video and also at the very end of this pattern. You can watch this video next, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm just gonna sit here because I need 10 seconds at the end for that to roll. So